Top middle is stuffing. This one is an unrepentant violation of the Geneva Convention. Taste, tastes like hate and sage. So much sage. It's ironic because you'll need to burn sage to erase it from your psyche.
Wait, were we talking about you or the candy corn?
Hi, everyone. This is Jason, and this is Old Guys Playing Game, episode number 5. And today we are talking all about, well, we have a whole host of topics, none of which relate to one another, except old guys playing them, I guess is the common thread. How you doing, guys?
It's Friday.
Great.
Good.
Jason, the announcer. Gets me every time.
Yes. Okay, we're going to jump in with our first topic of the day, and we would be remiss not to mention for us Call of Duty gamers, this is a big week. Why, Josh, is this week a big week?
I don't remember. Oh, because it's season 6 opening up. Season
6, and we have gotten a chance to see at least one of the major set of announcements and things in the game. And whoever's mic that is, that sounds hellacious. That's got to be Stewie.
I don't think it's mine.
Okay. So Call of Duty Season 6 has both an update to, Cold War and Warzone. And we got to play both of them this week. And Ken, what's your early read on, let's start with Cold War.
Cold War multiplayer actually brought in 2 new maps, and I really enjoy them. What happened?
Are you going to do something for us, Ken? Like, how are you going to explain about Call of Duty Cold War? Is there like a word to use to describe it, or?
Oh, yes. So the first
maps.
map is called Deprogram.
Yes.
And
Deprogram is my favorite map of all time. So those of you that don't know what these guys are referring to is, so I'm playing the game for a while, waiting for these jokers to get online.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
This is not how we describe what happened, okay? Because
why don't you describe
I was there. So let's rewind back though to, I believe it was Modern Warfare.
Okay.
Where we're all playing, and Jason unlocked a new attachment for his weapon.
My favorite attachment, by the way.
It's called the Compensator.
Oh.
Now I want everyone to spell that out. So it's Compensator, and I want you to try to sound that out.
Compensator. What's wrong with that?
It's actually Compensator. So fast forward to last night.
Okay.
I'm tough day. I want to get on, play some Call of Duty. Jason's already on. It's the new season. Cool.
Yeah. And Jason has been playing this map.
Jason's been crushing this map. I get on. I say, hey, man, what's up? And I hear, Josh, you are going to love this new map, Deprogram.
No, Deprogram.
Deprogram. I can't even say it anymore. It's so ridiculous. Deprogram. And I said, rewinding back to the Compensator, I'm thinking, oh, he's just doing a playful, funny thing. And I said, Jason, what did you just say? It's Deprogram. We proceeded to laugh like snot spitting out of our noses. And I don't care if that's not an allowed word.
I think it's fine.
For 3 to 5 minutes, painful laughing.
But the great thing is Ken joined 30 seconds into it.
Well, we calmed down, right? So we were like, okay, cool, we're gonna start playing. And I said, man, I wish the other guys were here. Ken joins, and we proceed to go through the entire thing again and laugh just as hard.
Yeah, I almost had a heart attack for crying out
loud. I'm sorry I missed that, and this is the first time I've heard this story. But I can only relate back to the Compensator moment, which I think I soiled one of the chairs in my media room laughing so hard.
That's what happened last night. That is literally what happened last night.
I was laughing so hard, and then when it finally struck me what the hell we were laughing at, I'm like, how could I not know that was Deprogram? I
mean, I think we could have another whole podcast on why you
on
couldn't
that? Okay,
know that
fine.
it
I
was
should set my.
Deprograms.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Jason, as you talk about to get back to the podcast, as we get to there are people that listen to this, like my wife and others, who
Okay.
don't know how the season concept is with Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, explain the seasons because that probably doesn't resonate with
I'm sure Kenneth will describe it better than I will, but I'll give my neophyte view of it, and that is neophyte, not nephophyte.
Touche.
It is. So every I don't know how many days, Ken. It's like 65, something like that.
Yeah, it's a month and a half or two.
Yeah, every couple months, Call of Duty will release a whole new season, and you have a battle pass that you can buy, and you can increase your levels, but basically you earn levels up to 100 levels in the season, and you earn charms and operators and things like that. But it's a way for them to reset the game every couple months, frankly, for you to kick in another $20 every couple months to get all the new stuff and the new maps and everything else. And you don't have to have it, I think, if you want to play free Warzone and other things, but if you really want to get all the new content, it's a way for them to keep the game, frankly, evergreen, right? And for you to have really cool new maps and new games. And while they change the games up and stuff all the time, there is sort of the I'll say competitive, not compensator, need to want to complete the full battle pass before the next season comes out. And that's my view of it, but I'll look for you other guys to go a little bit deeper on it.
Yeah, it's an addictive. I mean, the game is great. We would play the game a good amount if it wasn't for that. But I swear one of the reasons we've been playing this deeply this long is because of the season thing. Like, we are constantly competitive with one another on whether or not you've completed the battle pass or you've gotten to a certain player rank level. And if you've unlocked the camos, if you've unlocked the guns, if you've, unlocked in Stuart's case, he always has to get the site that completely changes the game to be one where
Jeez.
We're not on the same team.
You mean, Jason, are you talking about the thermal?
It's pronounced
thermal.
Taharmal. To be clear, the multiplayer portion, you had to be an owner of the game to begin with to be able to benefit from these new maps that they bring out every season, and those are free. They're not part of the battle pass. Pass includes like weapon blueprints, they're called, which basically just adds attachments, changes up the look and feel of the gun, and also new outfits like Barbie for your characters.
Skins, Kenneth, is the
yeah,
term.
you're right. I'm sorry.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
skins?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So the new maps though that they brought out for the multiplayer, because so far that's all I played, but I know a little bit about the Warzone, which, by the way, the Warzone is free. You don't have to buy the game to play that, and you also get the new maps and the changes in the maps free as well. Anywho, there are 4 new maps. Deprogram America with a K, which is a KGB replica of 1950s America,
which we haven't played yet.
We haven't played that one yet.
Okay.
There's one called all right, I'm going to mispronounce this, so everybody, I can't wait for all the Twitter storm. Globoko. Glubico.
Globico.
So it looks like it's
let's rely on Jason for the pronunciation.
Jason can provide that. Yeah,
that's the one I'll get right.
But that one looks like it's an underground bunker of sorts. Smaller map. It's like a 3v3. And then the 4th one is actually in the zombies. It's finishing the story of the zombies continuity, and it's a map called Forsaken. Haven't seen that one yet either. So this is supposed to be the end of the story if you had followed along the story of the zombies as you had played the different seasons throughout it. So
now you know what we feel all the time. Like, Ken is the one that knows the depth of the story in the background. We all just like, let's play the maps. Deprogram and Compensators. Okay, so that is actually really cool. And one thing that we realized last night when Josh and I were talking with Ken is that we like the campaign as well. So when I get these new games, I like to start the campaign by myself in addition to the multiplayer that we do. And Ken, I don't think you've gotten a chance yet to dive into the campaign,
Right.
but the campaign storyline is amazing. It's kind of like a playable movie when it comes down to it, especially at the level that I play, which is rookie or whatever. Josh likes to play on the hardest level and then complete every level.
There's nothing more frustrating than a campaign on like veteran or whatever it is. You
Right.
can't even move because you get hit once, dead. It's like playing hardcore.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm super excited about seeing the rest of these maps, but let's be honest, guys, we'll be excited about this maybe for another couple weeks, and then we'll be ready to do something else, which, by the way, the other thing we're going to play this weekend, thanks to Ken, otherwise we would have never known about it, the new Battlefield, is it 2042? Is that what it's called?
Correct, yeah.
Just the multiplayer free gameplay weekend, if you're a Game Pass subscriber. So we're downloading it. I'm downloading it now. I don't know if Stu, if you downloaded it yet, but we're going to try that this weekend as well.
I'm going to start doing that right now.
Cool. Okay, so the next topic is, Ken shared this with us as well, because of course Ken found it, like he does all these things. There is something was launched this week. Ken, care to share with us what was launched
Is
this
it
week?
SpaceX? Was it SpaceX? Am I right?
Oh, come on.
What launched this week? Are you referring to the controller?
Yeah.
That's coming out soon, but yes, November
Oh, it wasn't
15th. Yeah, November
Jeez.
15th marks the 20th anniversary of Xbox.
Whoa.
So
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. So they are coming out with a new headset, a wired headset, and a new wireless controller that is to commemorate the 20-year. In addition to that, that is just Microsoft. Adidas has also partnered with Xbox, and they're making not just one, but they're going to come out here next few weeks with some more shoes that are themed Xbox. So the first one they came out with was kind of like reminiscent of the original Xbox console, and it looks pretty cool. And for a what do you guys called sneakers? Sneakerheads.
Yeah, I haven't
that might
seen
be
that on any of like the boards and stuff. I'll take a look for that.
The sneakerhead boards, Josh? Is that what you're referring to? Oh
yes.
my gosh.
You have
You're
no
one of those
idea.
guys.
Yes.
My
I am.
gosh.
You should see
I'm a tennis shoe guy. That's what I call the entire category
Oh
of
my
shoes.
God.
You got a
Athletic
collection of
shoes.
Jason. You have a collection of Keds at home. Is that what
I
you're
have
saying?
to
Yes.
not do this anymore now that you've said that.
Okay. Okay. So I didn't realize. So is the headset that I just got, Ken, the new wireless headset, is that part of the 20th anniversary? Or is
It is not.
Oh.
It is not. The new headset,
Awesome. That
the
makes me really
commemorative
happy.
one, is a wired one, so it's not a wireless one. So just
Got
keep
it.
that in mind.
I just got the wireless, the whatever that Xbox controller, well, the Xbox brand headset that has the Dolby Atmos and all that business, which sounds incredible. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so next topic is a fun one. We're sort of going to an entirely different corner of the gaming world, but it's a theme that has what would you call it, generational aspects to it. So football is the theme that we're talking about. So what comes to mind? Let go all the way back. I'm going to see who goes far enough back. When you talk about football gaming, where do you think? Well, let's say, just so we are not talking about like football board games, if those damn things exist, but like in terms of an electronic or an electric sort of game, where did football gaming start? Anyone care to make a?
I'll make a guess, but let's just not forget, football started with the paper football, and that's where it should always.
Yes.
The triangle football, which was always confiscated in the lunchroom, is still one of the greatest games ever played.
And there was always that one kid in your class that made the absolute best football. So you always went to him.
Yes.
I think he used glue.
Yeah. Well, there was the one kid that could, he'd be able to like somehow tuck it in without cutting the paper, and then yes. I don't know how that was done. It's like folding a flag. But if there was the original game was the ever unpredictable but oodles of fun electronic football.
I love that, with that tiny little like foamy football that you put on the board.
It was magnetic, wasn't it? Wasn't it magnetic?
No. Wait.
I think it was foam. That tiny little like brown foam football. Am I thinking of something
Kenneth,
else?
we need a ruling.
You know what
So
we're
you're,
talking
you
about?
are you talking about the table where the table would vibrate and the
Yeah,
players
yeah,
would-
yeah.
would-
They had the little fins underneath that you could bend to
Yeah.
make it turn one way or the other. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if the ball was foam on that. I don't think it was.
Well, I'm thinking of something else.
I thought it was. Yeah, no, I thought it was. I thought it was a little magnetic ball. Either way, the idea was you would the way the game was played. Each team would line up their players on one side or the other of the line of scrimmage, basically, and then you would turn on this vibrating metal table. And they all sort of work around until one of the guys on the other side touched one of the guys on your side with the ball, and then the play stopped and you reset from that new down marker.
Mm-hmm.
It was hours of fun.
Well, I'm thinking of there was an addition that was a little bit later, and I'm of course like 20 years younger than you, so this could have been. But there was one that actually had a quarterback that had this arm that you put the little foam ball into, and then you went boom, and then the little foam ball went down
that's
the field.
different.
Yeah, they also had I know what you're talking about. That was in the 80s, potentially early 90s, but it was they also had a kicker where his leg was spring loaded or something like that.
That's right.
You could kick the ball through the uprights. But no, the original vibration table did not have a ball per se. And I will say I will kind of rephrase Stuart's comment. It was an hour of fun.
Well, for Jason, it would have been 5 minutes of fun.
That's right. You know me too well. That's about. I just looked at it on eBay again. I looked at it. I'm like, yep, that would last me just a couple seconds. So from that, we evolved to another game that we played that was sort of, I would say, moving more into electronic. And that was what? Anyone care to guess on what that next phase of football gaming was?
I'm assuming it was Mattel, wasn't it?
It was Mattel. That's good, Kenny. Yes. It
Well
was
done.
It was Football 1 and then Football 2.
And remember, it was like the little handheld. It was like a white plastic. You know, it fit. What was it about the size of? A little bit bigger than a Game Boy, right? But it had 4 or 5 buttons on the bottom of it, and they were like click. They actually made click, click, click sounds, and you had this little player that moved down the field, and you would try to weave between the defense if you were on offense.
So you're using the word player pretty loosely there. What you had was you had a red dash, very equivalent to the minus symbol of a calculator.
Right.
Yes.
And you were surrounded by other minuses, red minuses, and you had to weave through them.
I don't like this lack of imagination, Kenny.
I just Googled this.
You remember it now?
I remember it. Yeah, and they had the baseball one too, which I think
That's
I played
right.
more than the football.
They did.
one.
And they had the basketball one.
Baseball.
If you go on Amazon, folks, they're still out there, and they're not cheap.
No.
$40 for this one.
No, $124 for the real one. And
I was looking at eBay.
And that's probably the best place to get it. The one difference between the classic, so the classic was literally, it was addictive. They confiscated them when I was in middle school. It was that addictive.
You are that old.
I am that old. They confiscated them because we wouldn't stop playing them. This was the first.
This was late 70s when this thing came out.
Yeah.
It probably would have been
78.
Well, no, but when they got the one I remember in middle school was the number 2. But you're right. Number 1 was when I was in elementary school, and they were the first, nuisance to teachers. Right. I mean, if you think about it, we had no cell phones, we had no Game Boys in those days. This was it. And of course, the noise was, 1970s, 80s synth pop. Beep 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 beep. It was
it was it was 1 bit.
Yeah.
So, and you couldn't turn the sound off, if I remember correctly. Although I think it had a headphone jack. Did it not?
It has a sound. Looks like it has a sound. No, it looks like you could.
Okay,
it's got a sound on or off, but I think you're right. I mean, it was like you didn't want it off. The problem was always still you took up all your time too, right? Yeah. And the difference between 1 and 2 was pitching, was throwing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube where somebody has literally playing the game, and it's bringing back such memory. I'm going to buy one of these right now.
I was thinking the same thing. I want to get one. How about this? You buy one and I'll play it.
I have the soccer one. like out somewhere.
You still have it?
I found it in one of my boxes when I moved.
Oh, that's awesome. The
That's
soccer one,
cool.
so if I remember the soccer one I had, Josh, it was literally just like 12 red dots.
Yeah.
And you
That's
had to
what it was.
the dot would come at you and you have to go around the dot. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You know, what's funny is that Coleco then came out with one, still in the 70s though, after Mattel's, and it was the same thing. I don't know why they would have done that, but I remember it looking a little differently than the pictures I was looking at just now, and sure enough, it did. They came out with one in I think 78 or something, which is weird. I guess it was so popular they wanted to copy it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at the basketball one. I definitely had this basketball one too.
Yeah, and the baseball, I had the basketball one, and the baseball one I remember as well. And that's the one. Now, see, I want to go buy all of them. But it's like getting Atari. Like, you remember how great Atari was. Then whenever you get anything to play Atari on now, you go, oh gosh, I can't play this for 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then so let's carry on with the football theme, and maybe it is a bit of a jump, but I think what got us here is Josh was talking the other day about Tecmo Bowl, and how many flipping hours of Tecmo Bowl did we all play?
All I remember is you could snap the ball, retreat all the way back to your 1 yard line, and throw a Hail Mary to Jerry Rice or whoever it was, and it was a touchdown every time.
Yeah,
every time.
And Bo Jackson was unstoppable.
That's it. There was the one player that was unstoppable. That is
Bo Jackson.
It's Bo Jackson. There's posters of Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Bo knows.
Bo knows.
Was hours and hours and hours.
And you could run around all day long with Bo Jackson, and people just fall down all over the place, and you could just eventually score.
Now, that started off as an arcade game?
Did it?
Before it came to NES. Yeah, it was late 80s. It was an arcade game, a stand-up box, which allowed for, I think, 2 players, which was kind of odd at the time, or new at the time. It didn't take off very well in the arcades. It was when it came to NES is when it really took off.
Well, and Ken, I mean, if we keep going up the stack, and I know we talked about arcades before, and Ken and I were big NFL Blitz fans.
Yes.
That was a great game. And I don't think that was a game that, if I'm not mistaken, really was an arcade game for a long time. Even when there were consoles out, it really didn't make the jump to consoles for some reason. Did they specifically not distribute it to console games?
They did try. They only made one iteration of it, and it didn't do well. I think it actually was during the PC realm when people were doing PC gaming before consoles really had the power to do something like that, because it was a more of a 3D.
It looks like there was a PlayStation version.
Jason
I have a theory. Okay. Here's why.
Compensator.
The reason I loved that game, and so did my friends, was that was a game at the arcade with your friends you could play for a long time for not a lot of money. And so it wasn't that like it was an incredible game itself, because at the time there were probably better football games that you played on arcade, like on your home console. But like if you're going to go to an arcade with your friends, that you could play for a long time and have fun with it.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
My theory.
Yeah, I think that's a good theory. Even though I played Dallas and Ken played Detroit, so he lost quickly. But
Sure.
But it is true. It is. I would say you're right, and I think that's why that's why things like Golden Tee and some of those things were the same way, because they were games you could play more than more than 30 seconds, right?
Well, the other thing that I liked about that game is it was less a strategy football game and more of an arcade, almost like a schoolyard football, because there was no rules really. I mean, you were doing some really, really hard hits that you probably shouldn't do in a real strategic game. And there was really no strategy to it. You had plays to pick from and stuff like that, but it was more about the action and just the fun of it.
I just remembered the Tecmo Bowl sound, the snap. Hot. I want to find that sound.
Yep. These were all the precursors to the Maddens and everything else that came on after, right? But these were fun games, man. And even back to Jason, going back to the simplicity of the vibrating electronic football table was all still around the same concept of having some strategy, setting up with your friends, watching it go. That's what game's all about.
Exactly. Okay, so here's my final zinger, and then we'll let the listeners go on to the much more exciting lives that they lead.
Listener.
Okay, so here's the zinger. I'm going to start with Ken, and the question is, what is the only sports genre that's worth a salt in gaming? Like, if all other sports genres went away and this was the only thing that remained, life would be good.
Let me just make sure I understand.
Nope.
I mean,
Ken understands it. Ken understands
soccer.
It. And
FIFA.
Ken.
So prior to 5 years ago, I would have said that it was probably the NFL Madden franchise.
Okay.
The football would have been the one to go. But 5 years ago, my son really got into competitive soccer, like real soccer, not video game soccer. And so we started playing the soccer games, and I found that that game is absolutely, those games, FIFA and PES and games like that, they are absolutely huge, and they are so well done. And the licensing with all of the players and how often they have to switch teams, because they'll switch teams mid season sometimes. So I think, and I agree with Josh, I think that the soccer or football games are probably the largest, and that would be the only one I would say is closest to real life being there.
Okay.
Couldn't
Stu?
better myself.
We're not listening to you, Stu.
Wow. I think we've already heard from Joshua. I mean, well, I agree with Ken. It would have been Madden, especially back when they had the NCAA Madden, which I always thought was, the NCAA, which was the better one, where you could play mascots be mascots, which was really cool. But lawyers messed that up. For me, it's the one that son plays the most. I mean, I like F1 and those kind of things. I think they're really good. But because F1's always really good. Similar to Ken, it's got great seasons. But MLB The Show is the game, and now that MLB The Show is on Xbox as well as PS, I think it's sort of now reached its zenith. I mean, that game, if you've never seen it, I know you guys aren't huge baseball fans, but that game is pretty cool, and the way it plays, and it probably plays very similar to some of like how FIFA operates. But that'd be the one that I would say, because I see the uniqueness of the game, which for years was exclusive to Sony, but is now on Xbox. So that's
an EA title, correct?
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. No, it's not.
If I was allowed to talk, I would say that I
Do you guys hear something?
MLB The Show because my son plays it, and FIFA is still the better game.
Okay.
If I was allowed to talk.
Do you hear something?
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how did I become the whipping boy here?
Well, because you jumped in, you didn't follow the rules. There's very simple rules we have here. Okay.
Rules.
Okay. So
Don't let the Compensators smack you in the face with.
I would say by far the best video game sports genre is cricket. I just can't. I'm kidding. I hate that game.
Nobody was expecting that from you.
Okay.
You didn't even make that plausible.
I love FIFA, and I knew that two of my cohorts here would say the same thing. It's the soccer genre is the best on, but it's just, I played soccer all growing up, and that to me makes most sense in terms of all the positions and what they do. I don't understand football well enough. I love playing it, but I don't understand all the positions well enough. I don't understand all the positions and strategy in baseball, so I can't connect with it. I love watching it, but playing it is not as fun for me. So I think FIFA, for that reason, is my thing. It's interesting with this group.
All-time rusher.
All-time rusher. That's right. Josh is referring to my, records that I set for decades and our college intramural. Oh, that wasn't in college for decades.
Oh, I thought this wasn't at Sickles. No.
Okay. And okay, with that, any last parting words on the sports genre topic before?
Well, let's give a shout out to the NBA games. Now,
Okay, that's a good point.
the 2K series,
Don't get me
which-
started.
There we go.
Yeah.
with the 2K series, which I liked, it was brains is not working right now. I can't remember who came out with the 2Ks, but they had an NFL 2K before Madden kind of buried them, and I actually preferred the NFL 2Ks over the Madden.
Really?
Yes, most certainly. Now, I like the NBA 2K. I enjoy it. I am not a big basketball fan, but I do like watching my son play it. The mechanics of it and all that. But it's people don't realize how hard it has to be to try to make a digital character perform and move like a human being in real
Right.
life.
Yeah.
So people get frustrated. Oh, he's not doing that. It's like you have to realize they're throwing momentum
Oh.
into the game. You know, the guy has weight, so you can't just turn on a dime like he did back with Jordan versus Bird. You know, you can't just do that. You have to slow down.
You know what he needs? He just
Yeah.
needs a good compensator.
That's
He
right.
does.
And I
That's
would
right.
say the greatest basketball game in the history of video games is one-on-one Dr. J versus Larry Bird on the Amiga. I'm going to drop the mic. You can go look it up.
Double dribble.
No, one-on-one Dr. J versus Larry Bird. Go look it
That
up.
was a good game. That was a good game.
NBA Jam.
Oh, NBA Jam. Oh my gosh.
He's
Okay.
on fire.
That's right. With that, that was episode 5. Hopefully, you all enjoyed our banter, and you're going to go run out and get your Xbox controller. You're going to download the Battlefield 2042, and you're going to check out season 6 of Call of Duty. With that, we are Old Guys Playing Games. Go check out our website at oldguysplayinggames.com. Check out our Twitter handle.
Is that a new
Oh my
platform?
gosh.
Try the Twitter.
Twiddle?
Try the Twitter. And we are there at Old Guys Playing, because I don't think we can get the entire other one. I won't say it so we don't direct traffic that way. And we're probably 20 other places. So check us out. Give us feedback. You know, we just got unbelievable feedback on all of the socials. We are just
unbelievable.
lighting up the charts. So thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, we're Old Guys Playing Games.